You've used this word you've self-applied this word earlier in the conversation that you're an optimist. You're also a scientist. And if you think about 5, 10, 15 years from now, what's the most optimistic yet also realistic future that we could be walking into potentially, right? If the research progresses in a way that is a close to a best case scenario or is a best case scenario, and we're in the year 2032 and people are still terrified of this thing, what do you think is a realistic but optimistic future that we may be entering in terms of what the risks look like for ALS, what kind of progress we may have made for dealing with this?
Yeah, it's a good, great question. I hope we're going to be like what multiple sclerosis is now, where we're going to have 15, 20 drugs out there, and we'll be tailoring them to different people. We'll understand more of the biology, and it'll be what I would call a livable kind of illness, a chronic illness, but not fatal in 3 years. That people will be living longer with it and better, and that we'll be working on repair. How do you return function? Because that is the next step. Like if we can stop the progression or really slow it down, people still are not going to have full function. So can we think about how do you actually reconnect the motor nerves? How do you repair and regrow those connections? And that's not science fiction anymore. They're working on it for spinal cord injury, for stroke, and we're just starting in ALS, a few labs on it. So that would be, I think, a realistic goal, is that we're going to have a lot of therapy options. People will be living longer, and we'll be thinking about how to return function. Now, for the genetic form, I really hope in 10 years that's cured and prevented. I think that is very feasible, given the genetic revolution we're in the middle of.